Hi guys, thank you for joining me. Yep, we need to continue to pray for Texas. Currently, there is still 1,017,195 people without power. The Houston area residents are struggling to deal without the power and water. Boil water advisories have been put into effect several days ago, and the heat continues. It's probably a lot more people because there's some areas where they track the power outages. Well, they just don't have nothing running at all. So there's definitely more than 1 million people in southeast Texas, mainly between Galveston and north of Houston, that are still without power after Hurricane Beryl hurled into the Gulf Coast on Monday, leaving at least 10 people dead in Texas and 1 dead in Louisiana. They're saying that 500,000 Houston area homes and businesses may not have their power restored until next week amid sweltering summer heat, even as in this region it struggles to access fresh food, air conditioning, and safe drinking water. Here for the Galveston area, they're saying that there's 18,524 people that don't have power, but actually Central Point Energy primary outage management system is offline. They're currently only able to provide the number of customers out across their entire service territory. The outages have debilitated infrastructure across the region, including hospitals, assisted living facilities, and water treatment plants, leading to mounting frustration from residents that Houston's main utility, Center Point Energy, was not more prepared for the storm. Though the utility company says it is racing to make repairs, a Center Point executive said roughly 500,000 customers will not have electricity restored until sometimes next week. Hospitals in the Houston area are filling up after Hurricane Beryl left more than 1 million people in the city without electricity during a deadly heat wave. The city's football stadium has been converted into a transitional facility for when hospitals reach capacity. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said, "Hospitals can't discharge patients because patients can't go home if they don't have power," Mr. Patrick said in a press conference. Tens of millions of people were under a heat advisory on Thursday. That was yesterday. Today is July 12th, 2024. It is Friday. The searing temperatures go from California to Texas. More than 100 cooling centers in the Houston area have been launched to help residents. There are also reports of long rows of cars idling in lines at filling stations, gas stations, waiting to refuel, because the last resort for those without power or indoor air conditioning is their cars, their vehicles, their trucks. Reinsurance broker Gallagher Ray estimated that the U.S. economy losses from Beryl would be at least $1 billion as damage assessments continue. Weather forecasts from the firm AccuWeather issued a preliminary estimate of $28 billion to $32 billion in U.S. damage and economic losses. State officials promised cooling stations, hospital beds, and a plan to remove debris. President Joe Biden on Tuesday approved a major disaster declaration for Beryl. With local stores that ran out of power generators for sale, many Texans resort to their trucks to power appliances and small equipment at home. Montgomery County Judge Mark Keogh sent a message to residents that he is pushing for answers from Center Point Energy officials about their slow progress in restoring power to thousands across the county after Hurricane Beryl. "Hang in there. We're going to get through this together," said Keogh in a video post to Facebook. And that was on Thursday, yesterday, with the mayor saying that "you can rest assured I'm not going to let up Center Point." This heat is killing people across the U.S. Did you hear about Benji Gregory? He was a child star in the TV hit series Alf. He was found dead along with his service dog in his car, what they're calling vehicle heat. He had fallen asleep in his vehicle and died of a heat stroke. Sending prayers. This is just so tragic. There in Texas, more rounds of heavy rainfall are expected through Saturday, which is not what people dealing with the damage caused by Hurricane Beryl want to hear, including those waiting on power restoration. Storms could delay the recovery efforts even more. As a tropical storm, which Beryl became, pushes up through the United States, in Vermont, over 100 people were rescued, and a body was recovered from floodwaters after the storm brought dramatic flooding to the state on Wednesday. Waters were still receding from some coastal communities and roadways on Thursday, Texas Emergency Management Chief Nim Kidd said at a news conference. One Houston area resident said her home remained swamped with water for days and became moldy in the heat. After 2 days, the 57-year-old woman couldn't stand to be there any longer and left the resident building to stay at a hotel. She said, "We can't live in a place like that. I won't even let my dog live like those people are." These power outages have life-threatening and deadly consequences. A 71-year-old woman died near Crystal Beach after her oxygen machine ran out of battery power and her generator shut down. At least 2 people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning in Harris County, where the fire department have responded to more than 200 carbon monoxide calls from people attempting to use generators. Don't put them where the exhaust will leak into your home. Don't use them in your garage or maybe on a patio next to your home's windows and doors. Have them, away from the house as far as you can. Many of the homes are also without drinking water, as storm damage and power outages have left 135 wastewater treatment plants offline, according to Kidd. Boil water noses stretch across 8 counties in the Houston and Galveston area, noting that water is being distributed across impacted communities. Adding to the residents' distress are 90-degree temperatures that have baked the area every day this week and will continue into next week. The heat index, a measurement of how the body feels under both heat and humidity, could reach 106 degrees in some areas today, a life-threatening scenario for people without adequate cooling. A dozen Houston area hospitals are in the state of an internal disaster, and more than 40 dialysis clinics are struggling with outages, Kidd said. City officials are working to move dialysis patients to other locations and distribute generators in needed facilities as fast as possible, he said. Residents who are elderly or suffer from chronic illnesses are particularly at risk for heat-related illnesses, creating a dire scenario for the network of nursing homes and assisted living facilities that are still without power in the Houston area. Some facilities are relying on improvised patchwork of portable air conditioners and generators to protect their most vulnerable residents. Some who rely on electronic medical devices to live. This is why it's important to have backup power. I have 2 electric power banks, that I can use. If people just don't go to the movies or buy junk food, things like that, maybe they can save up to buy their own electric power banks. Every day it seems to get worse and worse, said Matthew Marchetti, co-founder of Crowdsource Rescue, a nonprofit founded during Hurricane Harvey that primarily serves as a search and rescue group. Marchetti's group of volunteers have helped deliver generators and supplies to 16 independent living facilities for seniors, but they identified roughly 120 facilities that need help. Martin Kaminsky, president and CEO of the Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston, oversees the Meals on Wheels program in the area, which serves 4,500 people over the age of 60 with hot meals every day. He said most of their clients don't have power right now, and the staff who deliver food are offering their own cell phones to help seniors connect with loved ones since many of their phones are dead. Local utilities are facing a barrage of criticism. Houston primary utility company Central Point Energy is responsible for a majority of the outages and is feeling growing frustration from residents and local officials who say the utility should have been more prepared for the storm. Though the utility said it had restored service to more than 1.3 million customers by Thursday night, roughly 500,000 will remain in the dark until sometime next week, according to Center Point Energy executive who spoke Thursday before the Texas Public Utility Commission. The homes and businesses most deeply affected by the outage are those that suffered massive electrical infrastructure damage from Hurricane Beryl, including the south side of Houston and up through Interstate 45 corridor, said Jason Ryan, one of the utility executive's vice president. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has requested an investigation into how Central Point and other power companies responded to Hurricane Beryl. So what are your thoughts? What are you doing to try and stay cool? There was images of people trying to cool off in flooded waters around their homes. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.